Welcome to episode 138 of Nobody Special.
On this episode, we talk about Mandalorian Season 2 and who your enemy is.
The Gospel Outpost presents Nobody Special. Hey everyone, welcome to Nobody Special, two nobodies talking about the somebody who matters. I'm Danny, the host, and this is the way of Nobody Special.
And I'm Caleb, you're the host of Nobody Special. This is the podcast where two generations of people talk about God, pop culture, politics, and everything in between, all while not taking any of it too seriously.
Hi, Caleb.
Hello.
Caleb, it is, at the time, November the 5th, and we are still counting electoral ballots.
Remember, the 5th of November, the treason gunpowder plot. I don't even know the words to that, nor do I think that's the right date.
Wolverine comes and... So, alright, by the way, since you brought that up, I actually don't know when that is. Is today John Fox Day? That's not even his name. Type in 5th. remember, but, you know...
Yeah, it is.
So
today.
First of all,
remember the 5th of November.
I want to say
gunpowder, treason, and plot.
The man's
if you
a terrorist.
Can't give us one, we'll take two. The better for us and the worse for you.
The man's a terrorist that's being celebrated in the same manner as Che Guevara shirts. I mean, it's like, no, the dude stinks. Like, he's a terrorist.
What is that? Is he blew up something? I only know that
he blew up like Parliament, or something like that. And then people that are all anti-government establishment or something, they buy these masks and put them on and think that they're part of some cause. But just to be honest and fair, a lot of those masks are mass produced in China, so you're not helping, period. But as of November 1st, all right, so Tuesday, I just want to talk about the election a little bit, because why I'm not turning the news on right now, because it's still going on. I actually, Tuesday, I went to bed. And I thought, well, at least I'll know tomorrow morning who's going to be the president.
That's so silly of you to think.
And I woke up, and I turned the TV on, and I was like, why? Why is this still happening? So anyway, there's a lot of counting going on.
Why is this? Is it the mail-in stuff? Is that why it's lasting longer?
Yeah. Well, okay. Yes.
As you can see, if you're watching the video version, Danny is flying his blue bandana for his party.
My favorite color. No, like, it's just my favorite color. No political stances will be had. Gosh, now I'm all self-conscious. Is there like a neutral band? I actually have a gray bandana. No,
but the independent party.
We are still counting and recounting, and it's gonna take some time. And a lot of people are concerned that all the ballots aren't counting, and a lot of people are concerned that they're counting too many ballots.
Right.
And just the big thing I'm interested in telling people during this time is that the real thing they can count on is Jesus Christ.
Jesus Juke.
That was lame.
Yeah. I regret nothing.
Jesus juked. Oh yeah.
Now, Caleb, it's at times like these that you have to ask, did he want to talk about the election because he pre-thought of that joke?
I figured you did, because you had the Jesus Juke button like already pulled up.
I always have that button pulled up just in case, because it's important to always be ready to give an account of the faith that you have.
Jesus Juke. Jesus.
You're so dumb. You're so dumb.
You just got Jesus juked. Oh yeah.
Do not mess with
you
my
just
ability.
Made these poor people have to listen
mess with my ability
to two Jesus
to
jukes.
Put this out there quickly.
That was...
Go ahead. Cue me up again, son. Cue me up again.
You know what?
One of those was premeditated. The other one was about sending a message. Here, I will close it down.
Okay.
Gosh.
Don't close. You know you're gonna.
I'm gonna try not to, but I will keep it queued up just in case.
Yeah.
So Caleb, how's your week been?
It's been good.
Good.
So the time change happened.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know, I always ask that question. Why?
I will take the additional sleep hour.
No.
The
I want
sleep
no
hour.
changes. Can we just stick
No.
to one?
As of now, yes, but now that they gave us the sleep hour.
There is no sleep hour.
Yeah, it gave us an extra hour of sleep.
But my body goes to bed an hour later now.
Well, my body
Because
goes to bed at horrible times anyway.
I'm
I wanted
just
the extra
tired.
sleep hour.
I'm just tired, guys.
All right, the thing I've noticed is that although the clock only moved an hour, it gets darker like 3 hours earlier, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know.
And don't give me the scientific answer. I can hear some of you typing in the comments. Well, because of the rotation of the sun. I know. I just choose not the rotation of the sun.
He just chooses
Shoot.
to be ignorant.
Shoot. Now that hey, I gotta give a special shout out to
Did you actually just say that? That's hilarious.
what?
The rotation of the sun.
Yeah, I might have said it. Speaking of things I've said poorly, there's a couple of things I have to clear up. A few missteps in speaking that I've said things that were wrong, and I was called out on them. And I want to be sure that I'm able to give props to the people who deserve them.
Okay.
Your friend and my friend of the show, Alex.
Yes.
Did we give him a
Mr.
name?
Chi-Chi.
Mr. Chi-Chi. I knew we gave him a name. And it was like, it's not Classic Joni. It's the other one.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chi-Chi, whose real name is Alex. Sorry, bud.
He just outed you.
He said the following. By the way, Danny, the answer to... Well, it was in reference to your horrible Halloween costume that you put together in 3, maybe 4 seconds. And I said the meaning of life was 47, and apparently it's 42.
And you're supposed to be the one that was an actual fan of that movie.
No, I just know it more.
Yeah.
Or I thought I
okay.
did.
Yeah.
And then I will retreat into shame. Yeah. And I answered back, it is 42. Oh my gosh. And I said it so confidently, though. So my apologies to everyone who stopped subscribing to the show because of that misstep.
Yeah.
You nerd. No, I'm kidding. No, I do feel bad about that.
Step in line.
So 47 is the number of like everything else, and that's why I keep getting it confused. And if people are Alias fans, it's a really important number for reasons they never explain. It's just like 47, and it's like yeah, okay, cool. So anyway, I've misspoken a couple times, and I repent of my ways of misspeakings.
I thought you were about to turn that into another Jesus joke.
I thought about it. Like, I really did.
I was going to smack you.
Like,
the Jesus joke graphic, that we do on YouTube would have just been me just like beating the crap out of you.
just you like pushing the graphic away. Not today. Well, Caleb, there have been some new things that have been happening in the world of pop culture.
Yes.
That I'm super excited about.
This is true.
Disney Plus finally decided to put out some new content.
Right.
That's right, everyone. We're both all thinking about the same thing.
Yep. Mandalorian.
Royal class of second-born royalty.
What?
I don't know. Is a Disney movie on there? I watched.
I had a feeling you weren't going to say Mandalorian.
It's 90 minutes. I'm an hour in, and nothing has happened.
Weird. Oh, remember when we talked about Enola Holmes before we get into this?
Mm-hmm.
So I watched like an hour of that.
Right.
And turned it off.
Right. It's fine. Like, it's fine.
I didn't even watch an hour. It was probably like 30 minutes.
Right.
And what was terrible is I literally had nothing else to watch. I was on a plane ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, you know what? I would rather just sit on this plane than watch this movie.
I watched all of it, paid attention to it, couldn't tell you anything about it. It was fine.
Yeah, it was all right. You know, I
the
thought
things
Henry
the
Cavill
comments
was
made-
interesting as Sherlock.
When he was in it, sure.
I was in the beginning, so I guess he doesn't stick around.
He
for long.
doesn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they took out his massive cocaine addiction, but that's because it's for like teens, and that would have been really hard to explain. Oh, Enola, don't come in my room. Why is there baking flour all over the desk,
Yeah.
Sherlock?
About that.
That's
you know?
Sherlock's special time. Like, he can't.
It's my mind, fellas.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was fine. But no, this other Disney Plus movie it's something about, they said people that are kind of the second born to the throne of various kingdoms, there's something genetically different about them, that they have superpowers.
What?
And they just said that, and I was like, well, that doesn't make sense at all. Like, that's that literally makes no sense.
Yeah.
And so I kept watching and hoping they would explain that sentence, and they just haven't. And I'm an hour in, and I don't care to finish. It just stinks.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's as harsh as I'm going to get. But Mandalorian.
Yes.
Mandalorian's back. Now we just need Falcon and Winter Soldier, Captain Falcon and Captain America and the Winter Soldier, please. Thank you very much. But
What about Scarlet Vision, WandaVision?
coming out soon.
Yeah.
So Caleb, we just watched the first episode of Mandalorian season 2.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought that it was really good. I liked it. It gave me kind of like a flashback to the episode with the it's not an AT-AT. It's a
ATST.
ATST?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not an AT. It's an AT. And that's the stupidest joke we'll tell all time.
But I thought it was good.
Yeah.
You know, I still have the critique that I had in the first season where it was like, why are there so many walking shots? But you know,
It's establishing shots. It's a Western. It's a space Western. It is. It's best classified as a space Western.
yeah.
No, I'll
What
stand
does that
by
have
this
to do
one.
with walking?
They have a lot of those in the old Westerns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's good though.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. You know, I think walking's great and all, but no, it was good. Like I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the first season too. I know I'm sounding like a little butthole, but you know, it was good, and I thought they brought back kind of the same energy. It feels like it's just like continuing, which I like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's very familiar still, and you know what's going on, and
I do enjoy that they're not overplaying the Baby Yoda card. I mean, in this first episode, it was almost as if Baby Yoda wasn't in there, because the story's not about him. It's actually about the Mandalorian. So
right.
if they just keep overplaying
Is it though?
Yes, it's called the Mandalorian. If they keep overplaying the card for, well, I have a magical baby, then I think that's going to paint them into a corner that they're not able to, and they're actually developing a character a bit, and I kind of appreciate it. So
Right.
And I also appreciate that they didn't do the thing they did to Baby Groot and just have teenage Yoda, you know, because that would just like
There would have
that's
had
awful.
been a time jump for that though.
Right.
But yeah,
But that would have been awful. Like, yeah, you want to go to Tatooine. Oh my gosh, like that. Then you just kill the race, and like, well, what can you do? You know?
Yeah. But the episode was good, and I thought, you know, obviously we're going to talk about this, but it had some good themes and good vibes and all of the above.
Yeah, and Timothy Oliphant, I think, did a fantastic job. Just for massive spoilers ahead, Timothy Oliphant has Boba Fett's armor because they're on Tatooine, and stuff happens. He
We
trades
went
for
into that
it.
spoiler real quick.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert.
he's on Tatooine.
He has
and he
Boba
has
Fett's
Boba
armor.
Fett's armor. Well, like, no, that it's not a spoiler. That movie came out in like 1984. All right, like.
Well, to the episode it is.
To the episode it is, sure, but they're on Tatooine, and people always say like, "What's going on with the armor?"
Yeah.
I don't know why they have that voice, but they do.
I liked that bit of it. And obviously the ending as well. This is big spoiler alert. Big spoiler alert. Big.
Baby Yoda dies.
In 3, 2, 1.
Mine's fake. Sorry, mine's fake.
Boba Fett's at the end of it.
Yeah.
Or at least, I mean, that's technically not confirmed, but Boba Fett's at the end of it.
It's pretty. It's not confirmed.
Yeah.
So, and I'm wondering if they're gonna do anything with that, or just kind of, is that kind of a nod to the fans, or is this a thing they're gonna try and build towards? Because I think they're building a bit to the other Disney Plus kind of a show that they're going to put out about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because in one of these episodes, the man is in there.
Yeah.
And, which is odd because that's kind of the whole point of the show is find a Jedi to give... Wait, Obi-Wan can't be in there.
Why?
He's dead.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. It's after Return of the Jedi. He's super dead.
That's right. For some reason, I was thinking it was in between the prequels too.
I was too. Hold on. What the heck was he? What was he filming? What was he? He's like, I got to put on my robe again. I'm like, wait, he can't be tracking him down. First of all, they don't have Alec Guinness.
Well, he's probably filming the Obi-Wan stuff, right? Did they say it was for the Mandalorian?
I thought they did. Be a really weird flashback, just like randomly.
That's hilarious.
Oh, no, just kidding. He's filming for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which makes way more sense.
Poor Danny. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry.
It's been a rough few weeks of just like me talking out my rear end here,
I think people are learning to not trust you.
Hit the unsubscribe button on the show. Like, oh, great. That idiot's talking again.
What was the other one too? Oh, when I got the Bible verse correct where it was and you didn't. That was another good one. Mainly for me, because I beat a seminarian. Is that what you would call yourself?
No seminarian refers to themselves as a seminarian. Gosh, and those that do, guys, don't. Don't. Excuse me, I'm a seminarian. Like, that's a first-year seminarian saying that. Like, I'm in seminary. Because, like, towards the end, it's like, I am about to graduate and don't know. Actually, side story. I turned in a 30-page paper to a professor, and I turned it in 2 weeks early because I said, hey, before you grade this, can you just, like, glance through it and tell me how I'm doing? And she glanced through it and goes, this paper's fantastic. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I didn't say anything until page 27. And she's like, no, this is exactly the thing I'm looking for. And I looked back at her and said, what did I do, though? Like, what is it? So, yeah. And I understand it now, but I did have one of those papers that I'm like, but also, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, well, it appears you do. I'm like, okay.
It's funny.
Anyway, so Mandalorian, though. No, I appreciated the story a bunch. I think Timothy Olyphant killed it. He did a fantastic job. He's a fantastic actor. And probably my favorite part, or kind of the funniest part, is that they're offering him, because they're pairing up with the Tusken Raiders to go...
The Sand People.
The Sand People to essentially kill a dragon.
A dragon?
When I say the plot out loud, worm. It doesn't seem like that. No, they call it a dragon.
Oh, they do? I did not pay attention to that. Dang.
It's better than worm. But
worm.
They're pairing up together, and the Tuskens, they give him this kind of thing to drink, and he's like, I'm not drinking that. It smells nasty. And I was just thinking, that is such a clear nod to every mission trip out there, where they're like, there are times where if you're offered food in certain cultures, you eat it, even if it smells bad, because it is a dishonor to eat it. I mean, There have been a couple trips I've been on that it's come close to, no, go ahead and eat that to not dishonor them. To them, it's a great gift. They don't have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
They are offering food to honor you, and by not eating it, you are dishonoring them.
Yeah.
So choke it down. It's okay to cough. They'll also think it's funny, but they'll kind of acknowledge the thing going on. And I was just like, yeah, we've been there. Like, like, I don't want their help if I'm drinking this. It's like, I totally get that, but also drink it.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. Did you ever go on a mission trip out of country?
Never been on a mission.
In
I just
country?
got my passport. Like, I don't have it yet, but I applied for my passport last week.
Are you going?
Yeah, I'm moving to moving out of country. I'm getting out of here.
Correct it for the audio listeners, please. Do you need a passport to move?
No. Well, I mean, probably. Do you? I don't know. Well, yeah, you can't leave the country if you don't have a passport, right?
But I'm trying to be a citizen somewhere else. Can I apply for citizenship before I get there?
That would be weird.
I was like, I don't need a passport. I'm a citizen here now. Here's my driver's license. Anyway,
no,
sorry.
I'm not planning on going somewhere, but
thank you.
I'm just getting it, just in case.
I gotta get mine too.
Do you not have a passport?
My dog ate it. That's not a
joke.
A lie. My dog actually ate. Granted, she ate it like 8 years ago, so it's also expired. But whatever. I gotta go get a new one. So.
Wow.
Yeah, but all right. Favorite part of the episode, though. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was probably. I really liked the opening scene, to be honest. I thought that was cool when he I figured it was gonna happen, but when he did his play on words of like, "You will not die by my hand," and then he shoots out the lights while the little creatures come and eat him.
I can hear you winking through your mask.
Yeah. But I thought that was cool. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like that. And the cinematography, me.
Yeah, cinematography. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And the tech behind the backgrounds and all that is still phenomenal that they're able to pull that off. Because it's not a green screen. It's a projected background. It's a massive, it's just
a screen.
24K screen, something or other, that rotates based on where the camera is.
Yeah. It's not only a directional screen, so they're able to mimic the ambient light too and reflections.
Right.
And, yeah, it's pretty rad.
It's pretty crazy, as far as screens go. So, got to be expensive though. But now, I know because of that, and kind of a question I had going through that you're able to answer. The armor is very shiny. So how are they hiding the camera? I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like,
well, there's a couple ways to do it. One, which they definitely did in a couple shots, is CGI. And I know that because there was the one where they had the little hologram pop up, and that was on his reflection in the suit.
Okay.
One, you see the camera, although it has a sand colored blanket over it.
Yeah, I did not notice it at all.
But you could see the matte box, the black square.
Did not notice it.
But I mean, yeah, it's either
weird.
just you kind of black out the background with a bunch of what you would call negative fill.
Okay.
That's one way to do it, depending on it really depends on the scenario that you're working in. But yeah, sometimes you can get away with what they did, where you just toss something a similar color of what the background would be, and it blends in enough, because it's not a perfect mirror in the show.
Right.
Only someone looking for it would have noticed that.
Right. Yeah, because I didn't see it at all, and I've watched the episode a couple of times, and you just straight up say "Oh, there, it's camera. I see the camera." I'm like, how? How do you see it?
It's because I'm looking for it. But I mean, yeah. So it's stuff like that or CGI, and yeah, there's plenty of ways to do it. But
very interesting.
It's annoying.
I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. To how did they get this shot?
Typically, people try and avoid reflections in general because it's just such a pain in the butt to deal with.
Right.
Because you have to do something like that. But
in this case, the the main character's armor is reflective.
Yeah.
And every director of photography probably goes in like, oh,
Yeah.
what a pain.
But yeah, they're handling it well. I mean, I'm sure it's like the first season. I don't remember his armor being that shiny. Was it? Like,
not at first, but after he got messed up in that first battle and brought the new armor back, then it became shiny.
That's right.
So after he got his new best car, I'm such a nerd. Sorry, I just had a brief moment where like, you stupid nerd. All right. After he got the best car for turning in Baby Yoda, had the new armor forged, then it became shinier in a slightly different color.
That's right. Yeah.
Nobody cares, Danny. Back to your nerd hole.
That was very, for some reason, that reminded me of Jim Gaffigan. That was very Jim Gaffigan of you.
That reminds me of Hot Pockets. No, so I thought it was a great episode. I'm excited for more episodes to come out. I think another one comes out the day this podcast comes out, so clearly we can't talk about them the day of. I guess we could, but like we're not going to.
Little diversion here. What about this time change, y'all? Is it just us dealing with that, or like, where does it? What is that? No, it's the same for like in America, right?
Some countries don't do the time change,
but like America does.
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's like one part that just doesn't.
Oh, those lucky people. Those lucky people.
So this time change has really got you messed up.
Yeah. I like can't
because this
function.
This is the second time you've brought it up, and I don't think you remember the first time.
No, I don't. Did I already bring this up?
Yeah, you did, homie.
That's how bad this is. I'm like so like out of it right now, and it's getting to me. It is, but you know.
Well,
I'm glad that I'm showing how tired I am.
One thing that got to me in the episode of Mandalorian season 2. See, I can do this. I have the ability.
You're freaking
brilliant.
segues.
Thank you. So kind of the big theme of this though is that there's this town and the Tusken Raiders that are being killed by this giant dragon who wakes up to feed and knock their stuff over.
Right.
And the town and the Tuskens, they battle and they've killed each other and they hate each other, but they have to team up in order to defeat this dragon.
Right.
When I say these plot points, it sounds insane and bad. I feel like I'm describing it terribly. It was an awesome episode. But it kind of got me thinking about, you know, trying to identify the enemy a bit, even in kind of a spiritual stance, and we tend to try and kind of put anybody that disagrees with us or our stance or anything else, we tend to kind of put them as like, well, that's my enemy, that's my enemy, that's my enemy, and I don't actually feel that's true.
Right.
And there's a passage in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 13, that I do think kind of describes it a bit more. So, Caleb, do you want to give it a read?
Yep. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm.
So part of this is kind of explain the difference between the person I think my enemy is and the person that's actually my enemy. And I think in this episode it became clear that although these two people are fighting, they're actually not the enemy. They both don't have access to abundance of resources and are just trying to do the thing they need to do to survive. But it's not until they actually get together and help each other out and get over their differences that they're able to actually can defeat the dragon thing.
Right.
Also, they have a Mandalorian, but whatever, that's not important here. They have a Mandalorian who flies. So, I don't know. I just, especially over the past few months, I've noticed there's been a good amount of trying to demonize the other end of the politics spectrum, that oh no, these are just evil people that are trying to kill babies, or these are evil people who are just racist. And I think that doesn't do justice to the complexity of thought, and also to those created in the image of God.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think that makes total sense to me, and I think that's something that like everyone deals with. Like even as a Christian, I deal with that, and whether it's, I mean, I wouldn't say I really deal with it like politically as much as I do just like, I don't know, just in everyday life, whether it's something small or big. I think we can slip into this mindset pretty easily,
right,
with our neighbor, and
right,
and start to think just really poorly of them because of like a decision they made, or
right,
whatever it is. And I think that's huge, that like we, it doesn't matter how evil we think they are. Like
right,
if that person's like a Satanist, let's go to the other end of the spectrum where they are like actually against us.
They
as
are
a Christian.
praising the Satan.
Like still they are a person who is loved by God, and in that, that's what this verse is saying, is like they're not our enemy. Our enemy is Satan, and and it's important to realize that. And even I find myself realizing this even like in my own head, like, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, where taking like every thought captive. That's just like a whole nother way to look at this as well, is like, there are thoughts that we can have too that are not that are from Satan, and it's like, or being influenced from him, and I think that's kind of what this is hitting on for sure.
I think kind of the two big parts, especially of this first part, and I mean after this it does get into putting on the full armor and just the different pieces of the armor, which I know I've talked about this before, but it's not medieval armor. Goodness, this thing, it's Roman armor, so don't go 1200s with it. Anyway, but kind of the two big takeouts of this is at first, there is a spiritual battle that I do think people kind of acknowledge a bit. They don't enjoy thinking about that there is a spiritual battle. There's 100% a spiritual battle going on, and it is massive, and it is all things we can't actually see, but it is actually going on. There are there is a devil. The devil is trying to conquer or to steal, kill, and destroy. That is the devil's goal, who thinks that although understanding God, the word of God, that God is all-powerful, can do all things in all places at all times, still thinks he can overpower God. It is the definition of madness, but that is still going on.
Yeah.
But that enemy is not our neighbor. And too many opportunities to extend grace and gospel to a person are squandered because in my head, they're my enemy.
Yeah.
And I get it. I mean, that this is a difficult distinction.
Right.
I mean, kind of the same thing in the Mandalorian episode, is that they're it's an actual conflict. It's not a nothing conflict. It's a real conflict. People have died. People have gotten hurt, but they're not the enemy.
Right.
The enemy is greater than all of them, and it's a part of crucifying the pride to go, although I have an actual concern, an actual grievance, that I'm choosing instead to go, that is a person created in the image of God, and I'm going to honor God by honoring them as best as I can. And it doesn't mean agreeing on everything they do and everything about them, but still treating them as if they're made in the image of God instead of as the enemy.
Yeah. I mean, like, once again, I think it's so easy to slip into, especially, when each side, or they are being like aggressive, like, I think that's the thing that in our human nature, like,
Mm-hmm.
makes us view them as an enemy as well, is like the more aggression there is,
Right.
the more we tend to tense up.
Right.
And
Then I need to be aggressive back.
Yeah, you know, and be ready to, you know, take some hits. And like, I think that's honestly like my personal, from like my interactions where I start to view someone as like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, oh, they're just like, they're too far gone. They're my enemy. You know, like it's when there's, you know, like real aggression, and I think that's kind of a thing that, you know, is so easy to slip into, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is like something I think we all need to hear right now. And it doesn't matter what your political orientation is, you know. I think we all have those people in our life that can just like get under our skin.
Yeah.
And really,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard, you know.
Mm-hmm. And I would love to say I've done this perfect, and I definitely haven't, especially during this election season. I mean, just every now and then there's just something that's like something. And, you know, granted, there's complexities to a good amount of it, but our goal in talking to people, even if they call us names, call out our stances as being evil or any of that, if I'm, you know, kind of first and above all, I need to bring those things to God and say, like, okay, hold on, I'm getting criticism. Is there any part of it that's actually true? Mm-hmm. Because that's just part of being humble and understanding that I'm not perfect and don't have everything figured out. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
The other part is, if I'm in right standing with God and they are not, what does God do to those persons? And how did Jesus treat them?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's, I don't know, like all throughout Scripture, there's plenty of opportunities that Jesus could have said, like, well, lightning bolts are an option for me, so I'm going to exercise my godly divine right of justice and just start cracking them off left and right. I mean, that's still been an option, but instead Jesus took to take the beating,
right,
and die on behalf of those that were against him. And I think that is important and very telling at the same time.
Yeah.
That the battle Jesus had been fighting wasn't against those that spit on him and punched him.
Right.
It was against a one that got tossed out of heaven and tried to overthrow God.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason that the devil is described as the deceiver.
Yeah.
If anything, those that are not caught by him, because that's not even the best term, but there needs to be an amount of compassion giving towards those that have been deceived.
Right.
Because that's a very dangerous place to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think even when we, you know, are being deceived, I mean, it's not like everyone's being deceived by the devil. I mean, it's like in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, I think having compassion, I find for like myself too. I think a lot of us out there, you know, it can be an internal battle as well.
Right.
And thinking, especially like once, you know, our eyes have been open to like how aggressive we've been, and in scenarios where we view that person as the enemy,
right?
Like it can be hard to deal with that and just other stuff too. I mean, there's some mental things that go on in someone's head, but I think having compassion on both sides of that is important for sure.
And I want to be clear about the thing I'm actually stating, just because there is a important distinction. Aggression isn't bad because this is a battle. There is a type of aggression that is good. I mean, even Jesus did have very aggressive tendencies at first, but Jesus had those aggressive tendencies against the actual enemy.
Right.
There was care and compassion given to those, and even welcoming in the Gentiles and that type of thing all throughout the New Testament. There was compassion towards those in order to bring them home, but there was aggression, and aggression isn't bad. I think too many people have caved in on a few different stances because, well, we just have to be nice to each other and just everyone get along and smile. And it's like, that's not what the gospel is actually saying.
Right.
And there's a difference between nice and kind.
Right.
We are to be kind to each other, but not nice. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like when
I know what you mean. It sounds weird,
like,
but
yeah, but like a nice is a puny, placating word.
right.
You know, like, just be nice. It's like, no, if I mean, it's kind of as a kid, if another kid came and stole a toy, and I go and get the toy back or something like that, then both of us are fighting. It's like, both of you just be nice. I'm like, sure, but he did steal. He did do a steal.
Right.
And I'm not going to share, and granted I probably should, but it's like, address the issue at hand instead of just saying, well, just kind of give in. And I guess that's the big difference between nice and kind, is that a nice placates a person and kind addresses a thing in honesty, but with grace and truth.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right. I mean, and I think this is so interesting just because, like, it goes in so many different ways, right? I mean, we're kind of talking about it in, like, it can be a political sense, and but I mean, I think
the most prevalent
oftentimes
currently, but yeah,
oftentimes, like, it can be with people who we're really close to and who are also Christians, right? I mean,
Right.
and that's kind of like what I would see if this Mandalorian episode was like to translate into like Christian terms, right? I know that's kind of dumb, but I'm gonna do it. And it's kind of like
it's the whole idea of this episode.
These two people have to come together on a common goal, right? And
Right.
to defeat this worm or this dragon. I keep on calling it a worm.
It's dragon, because you're thinking of Dune.
What is Dune? I don't know. But anyways, and I think that, like, we can oftentimes get in, you know, with our friends and family and whoever it is who are also Christians, and, you know, there's stuff that happens, but we need to remember the common goal at hand,
Right.
and once again who the enemy is and what the goal is. And I think that's kind of like what this episode translates to in my mind.
Yeah.
And it's cool because, like, you mentioned the drink earlier and how he, like, didn't drink it, and it, like, was kind of, but then later in the episode when he's like, they're planning out, like, how they're going to defeat the worm, and then he's, like, drinking
it's very subtle too. They just hand it to him and he's like, yep, here we go.
And he just, like, slurps it down. But that was cute.
Yeah. I think there is, like, to that point though, there is an issue of there's part of the pride that has to be crucified during this battle. Because it's I mean, you know, this entire passage of Ephesians chapter 6, it kind of focuses in on the armor of God, and it turns out that none of those are things we actually conjure up. It's not that I conjure up faith and I'm just like, I'm gonna faith hard and then go with all this. It's like, no, it's God giving it to you. It's the armor of God. It's either from God or in the nature of God. It's the armor of God. It's not the armor of Danny. It's not the armor of Caleb.
Yeah.
It's the armor of God. In order to put on that armor, you have to take off the other armor that doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
It is ineffective armor against the spiritual forces because it is a spiritual battle.
Right.
And if I'm putting on that armor, I have to take off the pride, the shell of pride, in order to wear the armor of God.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have a feeling that the way things are going in our world, that there will be plenty of opportunities to give the gospel to a hurting, confused, and broken people. And as Christians, we are not called to back down out of this and say, well, I'm just going to move. No, you're in the place God put you.
Right.
Now be in a place until God tells you to go.
Yeah.
And this is the battlefield. This is the spiritual battle. And it's a real battle, and real people are dying in it. And the call of a Christian is to understand that we will not die in this battle, but there are other people at stake.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's so easy to look at, communities of people, locations that are, not doing well, and to look at that and be like, oh, I mean, I need to get out of there then, right? And I need to stay away from them, or whatever it is. When it's kind of, we should have the opposite mindset. I mean, it's
there's
kind of
hurting and broken people there. I should be there.
Yeah. It's kind of like running into the fire instead of out.
There's actually a missionary I knew. I cannot think of his name right now, and nor do I think that would be particularly helpful to post this out there. But whatever. He watched his friend get killed on the mission field, and they had to get him out of the country earlier and faster than anticipated, which included like getting him to the consulate because they had a hit out on his head. So he's like, well, if I go outside, they might kill me. But I need to go 3 blocks down to this building, but they know where I am. Problem. So anyway, he had to get out of there pretty quick. There was it's a whole ordeal. Whole thing happened, and the missionary group that he was a part of actually said like, okay, you're benched for 6 months because you watched your friend die, and they just kind of took some time to heal, all this kind of stuff. And then by the time he was getting through that, he just wanted to go back to the country, and not to do some kind of like, I'll avenge them or something, but he knew more than ever that this is a people and a place that they needed the gospel, and his missionary group actually told him like, yeah, but you can't go back there. Do you understand? Like, they will 100% kill you if you go back. The end. So he started going to another country, but it kind of broke his heart at first to say that he can't go back to this place because he knew they needed the gospel. I mean, this is the core of the spiritual battle is by a person willing to do that to another person, that person needs to hear the gospel, that they are not their decisions, that they are not their actions, that they are built in the image of God and can come home to him. Yeah. Crazy story. Like, yeah, crazy story. So just to everybody out there, as the count is still going on, turn off the news, open up a Bible, turn on a sermon, do literally anything else. We'll know when we know. You staring at Fox News or CNN or NBC or any of those every 3 minutes, it turns out, isn't going to help anything. And it's not going to change the outcome or make the count faster or any of that. So instead of getting all torn up and trying to claim this person's an enemy or this person is against me, why not instead pray for that person and find a way to gospel that person in your community? Right. And I think that'll be a good kind of a first step, is get to know our neighbor and pray for our neighbor. Yeah.
That's huge for sure. Yeah, I think that, I mean, that's definitely something to focus on in this time, is honestly just like flipping the script. That's what it is. It's just like, what we are called to do is so backwards from what this world wants to do, and it's kind of cool, and it will stick out. It's something that is definitely needed during this time. Right.
Crazy times though. 2020 has been a gem.
Yep.
2020 has been fun.
It's still going. Can you believe that? This has been the longest year ever. So I was thinking back. I saw this photo from my last year's family's
That hit
Thanksgiving.
different. Sorry, it didn't occur to me we were like still in 2020.
Yeah.
Sorry, that one messed me up a little more than I thought it was going to. You tell this story. I'm going to be having an existential crisis over here for a minute.
But I saw this photo from my family's Thanksgiving from last year, and I was like, in my head, I literally thought
5
that it
years
was
ago?
like like 3 years
I was
ago.
13 then.
I'm like, it hasn't even been a year.
Mm-hmm.
It is insane.
Mm-hmm.
It blows my mind. But yeah, what a year. I'm never gonna forget this one. You all right, Danny? Should we just end the episode? So
I'm really not all right right now. I don't know why that one hit me so hard. It's been a year. Sorry, I'm just like thinking through everything we've gone through this year. We will definitely do this for the end of the year show or something. We'll just like trace the year a bit. I mean, even for us personally,
It's crazy.
it's been a year.
Yeah. It's been a year. A lot of things.
Well,
guys.
we will be working on tracing the hand of God throughout 2020. I want to do that for our end of the year show. We're going to spend some time, and it'll probably take us this long between now and the end of the year show, and trace what God's been doing between then and now. Because I actually do think...
I'm just thinking in my head right now, there's like tons of stuff.
Yeah. I actually do think that God is in this doing a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're in it, you can never actually know that you're in it. It's only after getting out of it and being able to stare back and go, wow, this is so the hand of God because I'm not that good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. We're going to... Gosh, that might be episode
But we
like
still have,
145 or something like that.
we still have another 2 months to go. So
Maybe we'll know who the president is by then.
yeah. Well,
Sorry, can I talk about one funny conversation I've had today?
yes.
If you're excited for the actual Santa Claus to be here this year, thank you for tuning into the podcast, and I'll give you a second to turn it off. Okay, so for the preschool, we were gonna do Santa, and I was Santa last year, and it was
He was Santa.
yeah, it took longer than I thought because every kid's like, I want this and I want a Bratz doll, and little did we know about them what we know now. And I'm like, well, no, you don't anymore. Anyway, but they can't do this on Santa anymore because it's like you'll get COVID and die or something.
Yeah.
So they, I was talking to the preschool director, and they're gonna have the kids just like take their list and put it in kind of a box. And then I chimed in like, and then, we'll like start to count the votes in the boxes and tally them, but like, oh, where are all these other votes coming from? And they just stared at me like, it's funny, but it's too soon,
Yeah.
like, and then it turns out that the toy we all wanted. No, I'm not even going to say that because that would imply something else. Anyway, I was making election jokes because it's never too soon to make a joke about something serious.
Yeah.
Sometimes laughter helps soothe the tears. Like, I don't know. Like, anyway, well, we want to hear from you.
Check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Nobody Special Podcast.
I feel like that was mid-sentence.
And you can ask us questions there in the DM, or if you want to go on YouTube, you can comment there. And also, there is a website. Go to thegospeloppost.com/Nobody Special, and there's a form there where you can either say hello or ask us questions if you would like.
You can check us out
and
on
also,
iTunes.
Danny is going insane. Did that hurt your feelings?
I was saying the thing. We want to hear from you, our loyal, don't care. Wrap up the show yourself. No, we
Well, that's going to do it for us today.
Oh my gosh. He is not my enemy. Lord, he is not my enemy. No. Caleb and I do appreciate everyone who tunes into the episode, who tells other people about it, who shares it. And also special props to Catherine for bringing us back
Yes.
Bob Ross. Now, the previous Bob is somewhere.
Decapitated.
His kappa got detated, and here's
Wait, what did you just
that's
say?
the office joke. His kappa got detated. So this one is back, and he still talks.
Let's get crazy. What the heck? Take a 2-inch brush.
2-inch brush.
This is your bravery test.
Bravery test.
Mm-hmm.
That was very soothing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I just got like
And
10% more tired just listening to that.
And I'm gonna be honest. I almost thought it would be kind of a funny bit to pick up Bob and then drop him and break the head off like the other one.
Your mom has to do that.
Oh, you're right. So, Mom, the next time that you're in town, who am I kidding? My mom doesn't listen to the show. Again, the joke that gets funnier every time she doesn't call me out on it.
Yep.
So, well, Caleb, I think that's going to do it for us today. I'm Danny.
And I'm Caleb.
And we are
Nobody special.